First thing we got to do to unscrew this airbag steering wheel is we're going to take the airbag itself off. Going to use a T30 torque screw to get it off. Online, some of the people are saying it's T25, but it's T30 on mine at least. So just after we've unscrewed that, basically what's going to happen is this connection to the airbag is still going to exist. We have the battery off, which hopefully will allow this thing not to explode in our face. And I'm just going to get some pliers and get that off. All right, so after we use the plier to pull the pin out of the airbag assembly, right now we're going to use a 22 millimeter socket on this breakaway bar to get the steering wheel off. All right, so after I put the key in, got the steering lock off. Now let's just try to pull it right off. All right, so there are these thumb screws right behind this trim panel, whatever you want to call it. One is right here, the other one is back here, and they're just like finger tight. Just screw those. All right, after we unscrewed those thumb screws behind here, we're gonna get a flathead screwdriver and get it in really carefully behind this, and get it out using a flathead screwdriver. So after we remove this piece, we see there are screws all in these locations that we unscrewed using a regular Phillips head screwdriver. And we're about to pull the gauge out now.
Okay, we're going to disconnect these two things in the circular thing, both second from the left. And then on this side, it was all the way to the right for what can be plugged in. There's two things that can't be plugged in.
After you've removed your gauge cluster, should look like that. Man, I hope I know how to put this shit back together. Step one, we're gonna remove the 9 Phillips head screws that you see on the back of the cluster. The gauge comes right off. That's what it looks like. Now what we've done is basically unscrew the 2 flathead screws that we see right here, and then we should be able to pick this right up. Okay, think better view of the gear right here. The thing just melted out, so there's nothing touching that gear right there. Okay. First thing we're gonna do now is, after we've taken the gears out, we're gonna try to take this little metal thing off. And what we're gonna do is use some metal cutting pliers. So using the cutting pliers, we basically broke that little piece off, and there's nothing remaining. So now we're gonna put the new gears on. So we put the gears on in order, went from smallest to largest gear on top, and just to test that it's working, we're going to move the gears by hand. We see that trip number going up, which is driving the bigger odometer. Now we needed to put this white piece on there. That smaller piece, that was really hard to put on. I had to force that on there. And then after we put that on there, we put the 3rd gear, the largest one. All right, so I disconnected the battery just to make sure that we don't short circuit anything, or, you know, I get electrocuted to death, but I don't want to screw this stuff in before I see if it works or not. So I just reconnected the battery, and gonna see what we got here. After we screw in these 2 Phillips head on the rabbit ears here, then we're gonna put this trim piece back on, and then there's 6 screws that we need to put. All right, now we've screwed the 6 screws in. Now we're gonna put this trim piece back on, which I think is gonna be very hard because it was hard to get off. Got the trim piece on. Now going to put the steering wheel back on. All right, now I've put the steering wheel back on and the airbag back on. Time to see if this thing works. Truth. Hell yeah, it's working. All right, nice.